Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we are going to we're going to do a couple of things today. So we don't have to do grammar. That's the good news. So we can just get right into the writing assignment. I did look at all of yours that turned in an assignment. I did look at it. I gave you some feedback. Most of you did a great job with all of your dress ups and openers and everything. One thing I do want to cover though is the highlighting in the topic clinchers. Some of you are still kind of, well, topic clinchers you've got, that's in your body paragraphs, but the introduction and the conclusion are just a little bit different. So, um, actually, I'd like to show, let me see here. Let me pull it up really quick. Um, Alex, would it be okay if I shared your paper so people can see how you structured your paper? Do you mind? Okay, thank you. So let me show you Alex. And other people did a good job too. I just picked hers just because it was up on my computer. So um this is her. So okay, let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. This week you're going to do two things. You're going to write your introduction and you're going to come up with a Google slideshow, which is what we're going to talk about in the class. And then next week you will turn in your total of 5 paragraphs. You have your introduction and conclusion. Those are the outside paragraphs, and then your 3 body paragraphs. So right now, as of today, as of last night, you should have completed 4 paragraphs, the 3 body paragraphs and your conclusion paragraph. So the last one to do is introduction. But let me show you down here. This is the last paragraph. This is the conclusion paragraph on Alex's paper. And notice it's not topic clincher. Topic clincher is the first and last sentences. You're connecting words there, repeat or reflect. She's got the 3 topics from her 3 body paragraphs highlighted. So she has Second Amendment highlighted because up here in her first body paragraph, that's what she talks about is the Second Amendment. And then the word Heller is highlighted. That's the plaintiff. And that was the second body paragraph was about Heller. That's that side of the case. And then she's got District of Columbia. That's the defendant. And that's what she has highlighted in her third body paragraph. So the pattern is, and she doesn't have an introduction yet because she's going to work on that this week. Topic clincher for your body paragraph. So here we have Second Amendment and Second Amendment. That's her topic clincher, body paragraph. Then I know you got to fix this. You probably saw, I see that you adjusted this, Alex. So you'll have to adjust your topic clincher too, since you added that sentence. By the way, I like that sentence. It's a good transition, which I'm going to talk about in a second too. But her topic clincher is going to be Heller and gun. And she'll have to kind of figure out how to fit that in that very first sentence, and then firearms and Heller. And then her third body paragraph, District of Columbia and District of Columbia. And then the conclusion, those 3 things, Second Amendment and Heller and District of Columbia. So remember, the introduction and the conclusion you're highlighting different things, not the topic clincher, but you're highlighting the topics from your body paragraph. Yes, Kylie, I see your hand there.
This isn't about this. I'm sorry. The
Oh,
sentence of the last paragraph in my paper is, I think I put like an AI next to it because I kind of copied it and put it on my paper because I didn't feel like writing it out.
well, I'm
But
glad you're honest about it.
but I did put the AI next to it to make sure I didn't plagiarize.
Thank you. I saw that. I gave you a note on your Google Classroom so you can check that.
I
Um, you saw
I
my
just
note?
remember you saying that you didn't want us using AI, so
Yeah,
I found a good sentence and I was like, ugh.
I know. Okay, so my recommendation for you, Kylie, was to use that sentence. It's okay to use the sentence, but make it your own. So you're gonna have to reword it. It was good. I gave you an idea in the comments of how you can reword it, and I told you you can use mine if you want to just use mine, that's okay. But yeah, you can't just take from AI or Chat GPT and paste it in there. And I saw that you put AI, so I was like, well, at least she's telling me it came from AI. But it really is important that you reword that. So you can work on that later and you can read my notes of what I put on there. Um, but another thing I wanted to, oh, I forgot what I was going to point out. The second thing. Does anybody else have any questions while I'm thinking about that? Alex?
Can you resubmit it because I accidentally turned it in?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll just return it to you. Um, okay, and this is something I talked to Alex about, and she did a great job fixing it. The first body paragraph is about the amendment. And then you go into the court case and you're talking about the plaintiff. But there needs to be a transition between those two topics because it's kind of harsh to just go from here's the Second Amendment, and then we're going to talk about one side of the case. So, what I recommended, and she did a great job, is right here. This is something she just added this morning. And it works. She put an example of how the Second Amendment changed the law in the Supreme Court case the Supreme Court case District of Columbia v. Heller. I want all of you to make sure in your second body paragraph you introduce the case like that. Don't just go right into the plaintiff. I know the paragraph is mostly about the plaintiff, but I want you to use a transition sentence right there so that it flows from the amendment. Oh, we're flowing now. I see how that amendment now plays into this case. And then you start talking about the plaintiff and the defendant. Do you see what I mean there? It needs to have a little bit of a transition. So I put some notes on everybody's papers. If you are missing that, I told you to add that. So I just want to make sure to explain that to the class. Okay, what else do I need to talk to you about? Next week, you're going to give a presentation, like I said, using your slides, and you're going to read just the three body paragraphs, okay, while you go through your slides. And I will explain, actually, it might be I think I might have you do 4 paragraphs that you read, but we'll go through that at the end of class. I'll make sure you know for sure what you're going to do. But I want everybody to make sure to read your whole paper, all 5 paragraphs, to someone in your house. It should be an adult, like a parent, grandparent, whoever is at home with you. So I want you before class next week read all 5 paragraphs out loud to someone. You know how sometimes I say, oh, you could read it to the mirror or to your cat, your dog, whatever. I want you to read it to a person this week. And the reason is because you're going to catch maybe some things that you need to fix in there, maybe some parts where it doesn't quite flow, and you can get feedback from your parent or the adult that you read it to. They can tell you what they think of it. They'll either say, oh, that's awesome, or I was confused about this part. What did you mean? And you can go back and fix those things. Yes, Kylie.
Could it be Camden?
It needs to be an adult, actually.
Okay.
I mean, you could read it to Camden, but you should also read it to an adult. Good question. Okay, so in your binder, you should have that paper we worked on last week for the conclusion. We're going to turn it over to the backside and work on the introduction. So this is page 144 from your binder that you guys should have gotten out last week. Hopefully you have this. It's from your binder, so if you don't have it yet, go ahead and get your binders out and find it. It's page 144.
Is this the conclusion thing or no?
Yeah, so this side was what we worked on last week.
Okay,
Uh,
is it okay if I use the thing that you sent in for our homework
yes,
this
you
weekend?
can use that.
I used that and I like wrote on it with like a little tool or whatever it was.
Yeah, you can use that. Um, well, actually, I don't know if the introduction is on that paper. So if you don't have
I
this,
don't think it is. I'll just grab it out of my binder.
yeah, that's best. If you could grab it out of your binder, it's page 144, 143, 144. So we did the conclusion last week, and we're going to work on this one this week. Kylie?
There's a part I didn't understand. It's like step 6 on homework due for 5/12/25, and it says use the checklist attached to the assignment, page 295 in history book.
Oh, oh, that was my mistake then. Yeah, because the history class is doing the same assignment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the wrong. So I messed up on that. Oops, let me see if I can correct it really quick. Yeah, it should be page 143. Is that what you ended up using?
Uh, I just skipped them like, screw this. I don't know what she's talking about.
Okay. If that ever happens, I really want you to message me. I have a bunch of classes and sometimes I mess up on I try not to, but it does happen every once in a while. But if you ever are, this goes for everybody. All of your parents have my cell phone number, okay? And they know how to contact me directly on my cell phone. That is so much faster using my cell phone than the Google Classroom. So if you leave a note on there like, I don't know what that means, history book, I don't have a history book. If you put that on Google Classroom, I might not see it right away, and then you won't be able to finish the assignment. So make sure if it's a burning question, if it's like a really important question like that, let your mom know or dad or somebody that has my number. Can you text Mrs. C and ask her what she means by history book? Because, you know, I sometimes I mess up, but it's part of life. But anyway, we'll get through this. Good question. So I will on this next assignment, I will attach what needs to be attached so that you have it right there. Okay. Does everybody have page 144? If not, raise your hand. Let me know if you don't have it. You don't have it, Alex? And Aubrey does not have it. Okay.
I have page 224.
It'd be 144.
Let's see. I don't know.
144. This is what it looks like. How about Ian? Do you have it?
The first page in the book is 187.
Page in the book is 187. I'm not sure what you mean. Are you looking at your binder?
Yeah, the first page in my binder is 187.
Same.
That is weird. Okay, so it must be an older paper. So here's what you can do. Go ahead and get out a lined piece of paper and you could just write it down on a lined piece of paper. I'm okay with that. If you have this, use this. If you don't have this, just write it out on a lined piece of paper. Just start by putting a Roman numeral 1 because this is Roman numeral 1. This is your first paragraph. And then you can start writing your keywords here to fill in on your lined paper if you need to. And Ian, you unmuted for a second. What were you going to say?
Oh, you asked me if I had the page. I don't have it right now, but I can get it.
Okay. So for right now, do you have a lined piece of paper you could use at least?
I have lined paper, but I can also go in my binder and get the introduction thing.
Go ahead and do that then. Okay, so I'm going to get started, but yes, get this if
Okay.
you have it, page 144. If you don't have it, use a lined page. The very first sentence, as you know, because we've done this before, is the attention getter. And it tells you up here some ideas of what you could use for your attention getter. You can begin with a question, but I'm going to recommend that you start with a fact or a statistic or a VSS. So you can start with a quote from one of your websites about the case or about the amendment or something about the Constitution. Okay. You can start with a quote. And the reason why I don't want you to start with a question this time is because you're going to put the question in the background. So under background here or on your lined piece of paper, you're going to use a question here. And remember in your website that you used OYES. Most of you, I think, used OYES. Give me a thumbs up if you used OYES as one of your sites. Okay, good. The way OYES is set up is it has a place for a question. So let me show you what I mean. The question is always related to the case, and it's always a question that the court is working to answer. Oops. Ian?
Yeah, my binder, the first page in my binder starts at 155.
Okay. So go ahead and just get out a piece of lined paper for now then, okay?
Okay.
This is an example of the OYES site. I'm going to type in here Roe v. Wade because I know that's Aubrey's paper. When you scroll down, you will always see this section on OYES right here, question. Her question for her case is, does the Constitution recognize a woman's right to terminate her pregnancy by abortion? That's going to be a great thing to actually copy and paste in your background information leading up to the case. So that's what I'm trying to get you guys to see is that every case, every Supreme Court case, every one of them has a question that the court is trying to answer. And they have this debate and they go back and forth and they defend, the defendant is trying to protect himself and the plaintiff is trying to justify why they sued and there's this argument, back and forth, but ultimately it comes down to a question in your case. So everybody can open a new tab right now, go to your OYES, go to your case, and scroll down to see if you can find the question for your case. If you see it, give me a thumbs up. I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, Alex, what is the question on yours?
Wait a second. I got it.
Okay.
Do the provisions of the District of Columbia Code that restrict the licensing of handguns and require licensed firearms kept in the home to be kept non-functional violate the Second Amendment?
Okay, and that's a long one. That's a mouthful. So here's what you can do. You can either copy and paste it word for word and then cite it, put oh yes in parentheses, or you can rephrase that and make it shorter if you don't want to have it that long. Kylie?
Uh, is the questionnaire that Myers distributed constitutionally protected speech?
Okay, that's good. So another thought is if it mentions the case in the question, leave that part out and try to reword the question more generically because what you're doing is giving background to the case, but you don't want to give away the case yet. The case comes in when you talk about it in the second body paragraph. That's when you introduce the case itself. So you can reword it so it's a little bit more generic. That's why I like this one. This one's just talking about the Constitution and the rights of women and abortion. So that's a great question to just cut and paste inside your paper for the background and make sure you put oh yes after the quote. How about Ian or Matt or yeah, Ian or Matt, did you find a question for yours?
I have not yet.
Okay. How about you, Ian?
Yeah, I found the question.
Okay, what's your question?
Does the cruel and unusual punishment clause of the Eighth Amendment forbid corporal punishment inflicted by teachers and administrators upon Ingram and Andrews at Charles R. Drew High School, Junior High School? Does Dade County school system corporal punishments policy violate due process?
It's a big question. For yours, I would stop at students and put a question mark right there and not include the rest of that. Does that make sense, Ian?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's a little bit more generic. But it's talking about in education and teachers, between teachers and students. So I would
I'm
use
sorry.
that question, but take that part out. I still would quote it because you're taking it as a direct quote, even though you didn't finish the whole quote. And you're going to put oh yes. This goes for everybody who's using a question from oh yes. Make sure you reference oh yes in parentheses after the question.
I'm sorry. I can't find this website.
Oh yes?
Yeah, it's just, is that exactly what it's called? Oh, yes.
It's oyes.org.
Okay.
I'll put it in the chat, but let's see. Maybe I
Okay,
can
I think I
your
found
case.
it. Okay, yeah, this is it, I think.
Oyes.org is the name of the site. And you're doing, what was your case? Board of Education of Independent School District?
Pottawam County or whatever.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you go to oyes.org and go to the search bar, see if you can find it in there. You have it as one of your sources listed on your homework, so I'm pretty sure you've been there, but see if you can.
Okay, I found it.
Okay, good. And then scroll
And
down
I
to,
have my question.
okay, what is your question on yours?
Is the student activities drug testing policy, which requires all students who participate in competitive extracurricular activities to submit to drug testing, consistent with the Fourth Amendment?
I like it. That's a good question. So I would use that in your background. And then another background that you can use. Oh, here, let me share my screen. I'm just giving you ideas. I want you guys to fill this in. So you can talk about I'm just putting it in parentheses because I don't really want to put it on the lines. This is for you to put your notes that are specific to your case. Okay. You can either handwrite out the question or just, put a note for yourself, get question off website or something like that, just so that you have notes here on how to build your outline. Your attention getter is either going to be a fact, or a statistic. Do you know what a statistic is? A statistic would be like, for yours, Aubrey, the percentage of abortions in America or something like that. You can find a statistic. Um, it's usually a percentage or a number or some kind of information that's gathered as a nation as a whole. Or if you want to focus on the state that it was, I think you said Texas, where it happened. A statistic could be for the school. I think somebody's doing Ingram v. Wright. So how many, you can find it somewhere on one of your websites, how many students have
Is
been
it o-
disciplined. Go
is it
ahead.
okay if I just put find Fourth Amendment statistic there
Yeah.
online so I can just find one online?
hmm You can find one
Okay.
online. If you find one online though, don't copy it from ChatGPT or AI, but if you use a website, make sure you guys include that in your bibliography. It's okay to have more than 3 sources. So if you find a great quote from somewhere else, make sure you cite where it came from and copy that URL and put it in your bibliography. Everybody should be working on building that bibliography page too.
A bibliography is, can you just explain that again?
The bibliography is that last page of your paper. I'll show you Aubrey, sorry. I have another student, Audrey, so um that tells the names of the website. That was in one of my classes that I talked about a few weeks ago.
Okay, I thank you.
Uh-huh, you're welcome. And that's where you let me find her paper really quick. Oops, wrong one. Hold on. This one. She's got it down here. It really should be on the next page, but she's still working on the document, so I'm not worried about that. But you see how she has here the author, the name of the article, the websites on OYES, the date, and all that. You enter that in. You actually enter in your information like I showed you the other class time.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what the bibliography is. Good question, though.
I need to create that still.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions before I go on to the next thing here? Okay. I'm still talking about the introduction. If you have questions, just let me know. It's okay. You can raise your hand or unmute. I put VSS on here too. So your attention getter is going to be one sentence. It's either going to be fact, statistic, or a VSS. You're going to save the question for the background. The other part of the background, you can add something about the Constitution. That could be a good background information. And something about our nation, something about America. These are ideas. What I'm doing here is making notes under this side so you can have ideas on what kind of background you want to put. Matt, did you want to say something?
No.
Okay. Topic A, that is your amendment. That's the first body paragraph. So you're going to put down some keywords here or a sentence, whatever makes sense for you on your notes, introducing the amendment. That's why it's kind of cool in the background to talk about the Constitution a little bit, like give a little bit of background about the Constitution. And then one of the amendments is the Second Amendment or the 14th Amendment or whatever amendment you're talking about in your paper. Introduce that. This is where you're going to put a box around amendment. Okay, I'm just putting it in the middle of that line, just wherever you use that, because that's what you're highlighting is the topic, the amendment itself. Topic B is about the plaintiff. Topic C is about the defendant. So you're going to mention those things in your introduction. Put a box around the word plaintiff, put a box around the word defendant here. And you will probably have to mention the case somewhere in there too, so it flows. Okay, but I'll give you feedback on that too. Do you have any questions about how to structure your introduction? Anybody have any questions about that? So the purpose of the introduction is to let the reader know what you're going to talk about. And when I say reader, it's whoever's reading your paper. It happens to be me, but it could be your parent, it could be another teacher, it could be your resource teacher, whoever you're giving your paper to share. The introduction is that first paragraph to say, this is what I'm going to talk about. And then the body paragraphs, you talk about it. And then the conclusion paragraph is telling them what you already told them. I know it seems like it's repeating a lot, and it is. That's the format of this style of paper. Tell them what you're going to say it, and tell them what you just said. That is the format. So this is introducing everything that you're going to say. So this is the format I want you to use. Okay. Any questions about this page or the introduction paragraph? So you guys got it. Okay. Remember, if it's a burning question, have your parent text me. I can help you on the spot, but I got to get it through a text because I have a bunch of classes and I won't be able to get to the Google Classroom. All right, now for the fun part. Let's talk about the Google slideshow. How many of you have ever seen a PowerPoint or a Google slideshow before? Oh, good. Nobody. Oh, maybe Aubrey. Okay.
I have.
Okay. And you have too. Good. So a PowerPoint or a Google slideshow is basically a presentation on a computer and you share your screen and it has pictures, sometimes it has graphs and it has bullet points and it's basically summarizing something that you want to share. And when you get to high school, you're going to use it a lot. When you get to college, you're going to use it even more. And depending on where you end up working as a career, it might even be even more than that. So this is like a really simple introduction on how to set up Google Slides or PowerPoint. So PowerPoint is it's an application on Microsoft Word. So if you use a desktop or you use something offline, you would use a PowerPoint. That's like a Word document. It's part of all of that. So it's the same thing as Google Slides, but Google Slides is Google, which means it's online and it's live, which means I can interact with you like I do on your homework on your Google Slides. I get to give you feedback and I can pull it up anywhere. That's why a lot of people use Google Slides now because you can build it at home and take it somewhere to the coffee shop or to to your classroom or to work and show the slideshow from online. And that's what we're going to learn since we're already on Google Classroom. So if you can, I want you to open up a new tab right now in your computer, go to Google, and I'm going to walk you through this.
What if we don't have a computer? Do you have to be on a desktop or a PC to use this, or can you do it on mobile?
So you have to be either on a desktop or laptop. It doesn't matter, but it is online. So you do need to be able to access a device that has Chrome or Safari or some kind of a search engine like that. You can't do
Well,
it.
I have that, but I can't do it on my iPad has Google Chrome and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but
Okay.
I can't do it on there yet still.
You can try. Yes, I think you can. You can try. The buttons might be a little bit different, but I'm recording this, so if you need to wait and do it later on a laptop or a desktop, you can. But you can try on your iPad too. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you open up, Google in your search, make sure that your icon right here, this is mine, that it's your account associated with the Google Classroom. So make sure that this icon is correct there. And then you're going to go to this thing called a waffle. It's like 9 dots in a row. That's where you usually find your Google Classroom. But if you scroll down, you'll see one that's yellow and it says slides. So go ahead and click on slides. Thumbs up if you found it and you clicked it. Good. Awesome. Uh, Kylie, were you able to find that?
I can't. It's oh, sorry. I think my mom is calling somebody. Her
Oh, okay.
phone connects to the iPad.
Oh,
What am I supposed to do again? Like I clicked the waffle. Oh,
click
no,
the
that's
waffle. Yeah, click the waffle and then find slides. It's yellow and it says slides. It looks like that.
the heck. Whoa, that
Did you find it?
no.
So it's like the blue page where it's like Google Docs, but instead it's yellow with
Uh,
a little box inside.
Like I found the waffle, but it does not have any yellow things on it.
Have
when
you
you open,
scrolled
it
down
doesn't
to
look
it
like
yet?
this, like mine.
It's like a file folder.
No, it doesn't look like that. Am I supposed to be like somewhere?
Yeah, you see this little icon right next to the waffle?
Yes.
Is that you? Like when you hover over it, is that your email, your Gmail?
This is my mom's iPad, my
Okay.
mom's computer,
So are you trying to access the slides on the iPad or a different device?
a different device.
So on that different device, look to see if that icon is yours next to the waffle.
There's no icon next to the waffle.
That's why. Okay, so you're not logged in. You're probably gonna have to do it later. I'm so sorry. I know it's a lot, but
My
maybe
brother's currently using the other iPad, so I couldn't use it.
okay. So for you, Kylie, I think you should just kind of watch what I'm doing,
Okay.
and then you'll have to do it later. If your brother finishes though with the iPad, or I mean the
Stop.
laptop,
Oh,
maybe you could switch with him
Okay.
if he finishes before you're done. Because that's important. You guys need to make sure it's your account here. And it's unless you know how to log in, Kylie, maybe you can log in on that iPad if your mom wants you to. You can ask her maybe. Okay. So do you guys see where it says blank presentation? If you're able to get on this slides, go ahead and click blank presentation. If you get a pop-up like this, just X out of it. And it should look like this. You might have templates on the side, but it should look like this in the middle where it says click to add title as a big white page. Is that what you guys have? Give me a thumbs up if you see that on yours. Good. Okay, good. Kylie, do you have a question?
Just kidding. Sorry.
Try to log in with your Gmail if you can. Um, or log in with, it doesn't, you can share it if you log in as somebody else on there, if somebody else's name, like if your mom's information is in there. She can log in and you could make it on her page and then share it with yourself later.
I got it.
Sweet. Yay. Okay. So at the top here, you see templates on this side, but do you see where it says theme at the top in your bar? I want you to click theme if you can find it. If you don't see it right away, you might have to use this little up and down arrow to open this up, but click on theme. And then there's a list on the side. Give me a thumbs up if you have that. Awesome. Yay, Kylie, I'm glad you're on too. So go ahead and scroll through these themes. You get to pick whichever one you like. And I want you to pick one for now. If you change it later, that's okay. I just want to give you the basics now and you can play around with it later. So go ahead and scroll through these ideas. You can look at color schemes. And there's some choices, not a whole lot, but just go ahead and pick one. Like I said, later you can change it. You can change the colors, you can totally change the background and all that stuff.
How do I
Pick
find
a
those
theme.
idea things?
Say that one more time.
How do I get to those that
There
you're
should
were
be
just
an
clicking
option
on?
up here called theme. That's where we're at.
Oh, okay.
Click
Okay, I
on
found
theme.
it. Thank
Okay, good.
you.
You're welcome. No problem. And then I'm just going to pick one for me for now. I kind of like this gray one with a little bit of color. But if you like more colorful, you can pick another one. And like I said, just pick one. And then later, if you want to play with the colors, you can do that later. So give me a thumbs up if you picked one, a theme. Okay,
Got
good,
one.
good. Click where it says click to add title. Click there and go ahead and put the name of your case right there in big letters on this first slide. So whatever case it is, Roe v. Wade, District of Columbia v. Heller, whatever case it is, go ahead and put it right there where it says title. Oops. Here is where you have some options. If you would like to center it, you can highlight it and you can leave it to the side if you like that. But these three little dots right here are going to give you a little bit more options on your top toolbar. So if you click those three little dots, you'll see this one where it says align and you can choose center if you like it centered. And then if you want to also make it bigger, same thing, three little dots. Actually, just kidding, you don't need those three little dots. You can go right here to the where it says the font and there's a plus sign next to it. Keep clicking the plus sign until you get it nice and big, however big you want it to be.
How do I move my lettering? It's not
Oh, because yours is such a long title.
uh-huh.
Yeah, if you want it, you can grab this box and widen it if you need to, like I'm doing right here. Or you can make the font smaller because yours is such a long
It
title.
didn't write it in the box. It's not writing it in the box for some reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's important to click inside the box.
Okay, I'm in the box.
And then you can start typing. Once you see your cursor blinking like that, that's how you know you're ready to type. I'm going to keep going, Matt, but let me know if you need other things, okay? So see how I click, it says here, click to add subtitle. Click on that, and I just want you to put by, comma, and then your name, first and last. And then give me a thumbs up when you have that page set. Okay, I see that.
By I just put by my name.
Matthew Santa Maria. Yep. This is your very first slide. So it's basically an introduction slide. You're telling what your paper is going to be about and then your name.
Okay,
Later,
done.
once you name your paper, I'm going to give you guys a choice. You can keep it the name of your case, or if you have a creative title for your paper, because that's one thing you're going to end up doing this week when you finish your fifth paragraph, is go ahead and make a title using the title rule. And I'm going to give you a choice here on your first slide. It can be the name of your case or it can be the title of your paper. Either way, okay? Giving you guys some options.
How big do you want the name to be?
That's up to you. So the design is going to be totally what you want. I made mine big, but you don't have to go that big, okay? Ian, you can kind of design it however you want on that page.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Up here, you should see another toolbar. See this big blue toolbar? That's what we use for things inside the slides. But up here, there's also another toolbar. Make sure you can see this, and you should see the word slide up here. If you see the word slide, click on it. If you don't see the word slide, let me know. And then you're going to click new slide. When you click new slide, it just automatically adds one. On the side here, the sidebar is just keeping track of all your slides, so you can actually see them all at once. It's kind of cool like that. You're going to see the format of the actual slide is slightly different. And the first slide is always kind of a little bit different than the rest of the slides as far as the format, and that's okay. So here we have click to add title again. It's a little bit of a smaller box. This one is going to be about the amendment. So whatever amendment that you have in your paper, go ahead and put it here. So I'm going to use the number 4 for this, but you can spell it out if you want to. I'm going to say this one's about the 4th Amendment. I want to have that centered, so I'm going to move that. And I like it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go a little bit bigger here, like this. Okay, so go ahead and write your 4th or whatever amendment. It doesn't have to be 4th. But this is going to represent your first body paragraph. Remember, your first body paragraph is all about the amendment. And if there's more than one amendment in your paper, you can list both. You can say 4th and 10th Amendment, or you just list them both in this title because that's your paragraph. Go ahead, Kylie.
Can you change the color of the next slide?
Yes, you can change, and I'll get into that in a second. And yes, you're going to have more freedom to decorate your slides, however, within reason.
I was trying. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
And let me show you a couple of things. So down here where it says click to add text, actually, you know what? I'll show you how to find a picture first. So up at your top toolbar, do you see where it says insert? Go ahead and click insert. Let me know if you don't see it, if anybody has trouble with it. Under that, you should see image. If you hover over image, it's going to open up a new box. So what I do is just slide over, and you're going to go to stock and web right here. So click insert, go to image, slide over, and click stock and web. Let me know if anybody needs help with anything. I'm just going to keep going, okay?
There's a puppy.
I know, and they're so cute. Okay, you're going to see stock images, GIFs, and stickers, and then Google Images. I don't want you to use any GIFs in your presentation because this is an academic presentation, and usually GIFs are memes. I know they're cute, but I don't want you to use any GIFs. But you can use stickers, one, and you can use images. That's where you can use the most. So let's click here where it says search all stock. I want you to put in your amendment. So I'm going to put in 4th Amendment and see if anything comes up. Okay, just type in 4th Amendment. And then click on stock images. We're going to start with those. Now for the 4th Amendment, there's not a lot of choices here. This one here, and this is for my Ingram v. Wright. I'm just I don't really have, you guys can think about the case that you're talking about. But if you see a picture that you like this one, these people are getting arrested. This is part of the 4th Amendment. You can click on it. It automatically adds it to your slide, but you're going to see that it makes it really big on your slide. The way to shrink it is go to the corner, and you'll see a diagonal arrow. You got to hover over that until you see a diagonal arrow, and you click and hold and shrink it down. Some of you already know how to do this kind of stuff. I'm just modeling this for you if you need me to show you how to do it. When you want to move the picture, you're going to grab it when it turns into a plus sign. See how my cursor now looks like a plus on the edge of the picture? And when I say grab it, you're going to click and hold it and slide it around wherever you want it on your slide. I want you to keep these pictures to the right of the slide because you're going to use bullet points, and I want you to have the bullet points on the left of the slide. So shrink down your picture and fit it somewhere on the right side. If you don't see a picture you like, a good backup is to just look up U.S. Constitution. And then you've got some great other pictures you can add. You can add 2 pictures per slide. And we'll talk about the stickers in a second, but just focus on this on the pictures right now. So I'm looking at these, gonna see if I can pick one that I kind of like here. I kind of like this one. This one shows we the people, and that's a shadow of a feather that they probably used to write it. So I'm going to shrink it down because the amendment has to do with the Constitution. So it makes sense to have a picture of the Constitution in here too. So that's my slide so far. I'm going to give you guys a minute. If you have any questions, let me know. Try to find 2 pictures that you think look good to go with your slide about the amendment. Don't go into the case yet, but you're just introducing the amendment here on this slide. You can do an American flag. If you have a Second Amendment, it is okay for this assignment to use an image of a gun. I'm okay with that because that is the Second Amendment. But do your search within this app, which is Google Slides. If you open a new tab and search, it gets a little crazy. So stay here. Stay on this app, Google Slides.
I scrunched up all my people.
Too small?
They look like sandwiches.
Oh yeah, let me show you a really important button.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
My thing is like very small.
Okay,
Oh,
do
there it goes. Never mind, I fixed it.
you can fix it. Do you see this undo button right here? Everybody needs to know
Yeah.
where this button is. It's really important because if you mess up, it's okay. You just click that and it undoes whatever you just did. That's going to help you a lot when you're creating this. So use that button. That's undo, and then there's redo if you want to redo it. So undo it and then try shrinking it again so it doesn't go too small. Ian, are you finding some things to add to your slide?
Yeah.
Matt, were you able to fix the problem?
Yeah, I'm just trying to move my text around. I think I got it though.
When you move it, when you move anything, whether it's an image or a text, you got to look for that plus sign and then grab it on an edge. You can move it around that way. And I don't know if you guys notice when you move things, do you see a little red line pop up every once in a while? That red line is telling you where the center of the slide is, so you can make it nice and clean looking and put it at the center if you want. It kind of gives you some ideas on where to place the picture. Aubrey, were you able to find some images? Good. Okay, I'm going to keep going, but if you guys want to just keep working on this for a second, I'm okay with that. I'm going to keep going. Remember, this is your homework, so you're going to have lots of time to play with this when you go to do your homework this week. The one thing I really want to make sure you do is tell one of your parents or both parents, tell your parents when you're working on this and tell them that you're going to be searching on Google for images. You need to tell them because they may want to sit with you for that. Google can get crazy. So I really want to make sure you tell them ahead of time so they know you're going to Google to look for images. Okay. And then here inside where it says click to add text, I want you to put bullet points in here. And some of you know how to do bullet points, but I'm just going to explain how to do bullet points. Bullet points means a shortened way to say something. It is not a complete sentence. It's just a small group of words that give a point. They're called bullet points. So click inside that box, and then you're going to click on those 3 lines at the top here in that bar, that blue bar. And when you click those 3 lines, that opens up your other options again. And you're going to see an option right here. It says bulleted list. It has a dot and a line. There's 3 dots and 3 lines right there. You're just going to click on that and notice how it just puts a bullet in there for you, a bullet point. And then from here, the first bullet point should be a few words about that amendment. So like the Fourth Amendment says, safeguards against unreasonable searches and seizures. So I can put that as, I can actually reduce that smaller and say protects against unreasonable.
I put prevents unlawful searching of property.
Okay, good. So that's fine too. You can do that. See how mine's just 4 words. Try to keep it really short. It's not a full sentence. You're not going to use the of and the and short words like that. Protects against unreasonable searches. You're just going to give a summary, really tiny summary of what the Fourth Amendment or what your amendment is about. You don't need a period at the end of that because it's not a sentence, just a bullet point. After you get to the end of those groups of words, okay, go ahead, Alex. I see your hand.
How did you add the bullet point thing again?
Okay, so up here on your toolbar, do you see the 3 little dots?
Yeah.
And then it's right here. It has dots and lines. Do you see it on yours?
Okay, I got it.
Okay, cool. Once you type in a few words to kind of summarize what that amendment is about, when you get to the end, just hit enter on your keyboard and it gives you the next bullet point. Each slide should have 4 bullet points. And the way you're going to decide what 4 bullet points you're going to put is to look at your paragraph that you wrote about the amendment and pick the 4 most important things about your paragraph. Like it could be the date that it was written, or who wrote it, or when it was ratified, or
I don't understand. Are we just in the first slide we have this Fourth Amendment thing? We're only putting like the parts of that amendment, right? We're not doing anything for the court case yet.
correct. That is correct. Don't mention the court case yet. So this slide goes with that paragraph. And Matt, I know you're catching up on your paragraphs. You haven't written this one yet. So this paragraph in your paper is going to be only about Fourth Amendment or whatever amendment is yours. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's going to be hard for you to make the slides when you're not finished with your paper yet, but I'm just showing you how to do
I'll
it.
talk to you after class about that.
Okay. Okay. So, you can put a date. You need to have 4 bullet points. So like I said, you can open up a new tab in your Google right now, open a new tab and go to your paper that you're working on and look at your paragraph about the amendments and pick out 4 important parts. Well, you already have 1, so you just need 3 more. So 3 more important things to mention about the amendment. Let me know if you guys have any questions about that. Yes, Kylie.
This might sound off topic, but the background of the amendment, the one that we're on, I tried to do it and it went to the other one.
Yeah, sometimes when you add backgrounds, it adds a background to all of them. That's why it's better to pick a theme. Does that make sense?
No, I mean like, hold on. It's like I have the background right here. Hold on. Let me just put it
On your first slide? Okay.
Yep, and then I'll go to my next slide and I'll try and add a background and it'll change the background of the first slide.
Yeah, I don't think you can prevent that. I think the background, maybe Ian knows. I think when you set a background, I think it sets it for all of them. Oh, Aubrey, do you know?
When you set, so the theme you pick is going to be the colors. So the theme is going to be the way it lays out and also the colors. But you can click, like double tap, click on it, and you could change the background to whatever color you want. But it'll change all the slides, instead of it being white in the background, it'll be that color that you pick in the background.
Okay.
It
Thank you.
affects all the slides. Is that what you're saying, Aubrey?
Yeah, you can't like do each one a different color.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. And those things you guys can play with, like I said, this week when you're working on this. I'm just giving you a really short, simple overview, but play with it. See what you can do. You can make this your own design. You can style this however you want to style this within reason. I don't want any gifts. And you can use a sticker at the end, which we'll talk about in a minute here. So I'm just going to hit enter. Oops. Hold on. I'm just going to leave this like this for now. If you don't have all 4 bullet points yet, that's okay. You can work on this for this week. Go ahead and go to slide again and add a new slide like we did earlier. Just click new slide and it's going to give you another slide. And this is where you're going to talk about, this is the second body paragraph, which is about the plaintiff in the case. So this is where you're going to say the plaintiff's name. You might put the whole like this, Ingram v. Wright. Let me show you something here. No, I don't like the way that looks. And you might do like a big space and put plaintiff Wright. I don't know if that's the plaintiff, but I'm just giving you an example here. So you want to mention, maybe you could do a colon after it. That might look good. You might move it closer. Somewhere on your title, on this slide, you need to have the plaintiff and the name of the plaintiff and the court case. So when you get to this slide, you might say something like, in the case Ingram v. Wright, the plaintiff was something Wright. I don't know his first name. In your search on the side on images, you're going to look for a couple images for this page. And I want you to try to type in the name of the case. Sometimes there's pictures and sometimes there's not. So just try it. Ingram v. Wright. And so mine didn't show up with anything. So this is where you're going to have to get creative again with your slides. So for this case, this is the one that has the student. Are you doing this one, Ian? I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay. In this case, it has to do with discipline in the school, right? So you could find a school picture. You could do like discipline, school. Could be like principal disciplining student. Try that one. So it depends on what your case is to try to find images that kind of match your case. So I want to see what this has. Oh, well, I don't really like that one, but principal's office, maybe. Principal's office. This might be a good one because he looks mad. He's the principal. So I might choose that one. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit so you guys get the idea. Let me know if you have any questions. Go ahead and play with this for a minute. Find 2 pictures for now. Oh, I'm sorry, Aubrey, go ahead.
Could I put a picture of like a baby? Like this?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
I don't know what to do for my second picture.
Yeah. Let's see, what could you do? You could look up like pro-life. You might have like pictures of
I was wondering, could I wait, can you see my page? No, you can't. So could I don't really know how to say this. Um,
are you trying to find a picture?
I was wondering if so it's the Eighth Amendment. I'm doing the Eighth Amendment. I
Okay.
was wondering if I could put like an 8 ball instead of the eighth.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm okay
Okay.
with that. You guys can get creative with that. I just looked at the clock and I need to wrap up class here, but so pause just for a second. You're going to have a slide for each of your body paragraphs. So you're working on the plaintiff one. The next one is going to be about the defendant. And then you're going to do another slide that has to do with the impact on the United States. And I'm gonna really put this in your Google Classrooms to describe exactly what I want on the slides, okay? So you're going to have the three body paragraphs are each going to have a slide, and then the impact on the United States is going to have a slide. And then the very last slide, which is going to be slide 6, is going to be a thank you slide. Anytime you do a presentation, you want to end with thank you, like thanks for listening, right? So that's the slide that you can make personalized within reason. I don't want you to get crazy on controversial things, okay? Keep it about you. If you like cats or dogs or flowers or cars or whatever, you can personalize your last page just for fun. And that's where you can use a sticker. And there's sticker choices. I do not want any GIFs though. Those get weird. So don't even do a GIF at all, okay? But you can personalize your 6th slide, which is your thank you slide, and that can be your style. Whatever color, whatever sticker, pictures. Okay, so that's your assignment. You're going to write your introduction paragraph using the template we went over at the first part of class. Second thing you're going to do is finish this slideshow because you have to have it all finished by next week. It's our last class, and everybody's going to give a presentation. So when you turn it in to me on Google Classroom, I can pull up your presentation. So I'll display it while you talk about it, and then I'll switch slides for you. So it's going to be each person in here is going to have a turn to tell what about their paper, what you guys wrote about. So really important that you get all 5 paragraphs done. And I'm going to ask you to get it done by Sunday night so that I have time to grade it and look at it and give you feedback on it. So if there's any changes, you have Monday to change anything. And then Tuesday, you're going to give the presentations. It has to be done by then. I don't know why my hand is raised. Okay,
I
Alex.
think it does it automatically when you move around your hand. Like,
Oh, if I do that.
yeah, I think it'll.
Uh, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it went away when you put them down.
Weird. Okay. Anyway, Alex, did you have a
I'm
question?
gonna have to show it to you
Oh, Alex.
before Friday.
Okay, that's fine. You can show it to me then. Have your mom text me so that I know to look at it, okay? Because I don't check
She
Google
said
Docs.
that I can show it to you during Matthew's class tutoring thing.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's a good
Okay.
idea. Sounds good. Thanks, Alex. Anything else before you go?
Can I still talk to you after class about my
Yes, I'll
paragraph,
stay
please?
on. Yeah, no problem. Okay, bye, you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye. Have a good week.